I'd like to share a few ideas that could make your Gmade Sawback a much better crawler. The first thing we'll address is this tie rod. It's sticking down here in the catch rock position. It is easy and free to rearrange the way the tie rod mounts. They show you to put the tie rod underneath the knuckle arm, but it can go on top, and then on top of that on this side you can put the drag link over the spring, and they have a nice bend in the drag link already, and it works just fine. It misses the spring and it's up out of the way now. That's a handy thing you can do on the cheap. Now the next thing is they show, I believe, 3 different ways to assemble the springs, but I suggest a different one. And that is, you use your long spring that you have to use, and you put the shortest leaf on top, and that's all. Don't use the middle-sized leaf at all. Don't use any of the electrical ties or anything. And it's just stiff enough to prevent excessive twisting under torque, but it's soft enough to give you all kinds of articulation. See? Good articulation. You look on the videos, a lot of guys, they build their springs so stiff that every time they go over uneven terrain, they've got a tire sticking up in the air. Alright, the next thing is forward battery. Now you see, I haven't put my battery forward, but I do have about 8 ounces of lead in the radio box. I'd like to move the battery forward later, but first I want to move the servo to a frame-mounted bracket, which is available, but you have to order from Korea. So anyhow, I also run 3 ounces of lead in each wheel, and the all-up weight of this truck is 7 pounds and 5 ounces right now, and it crawls great at that weight. Another thing that can really help, it's a mandatory upgrade. You need rock sliders, because otherwise you're going to tear your body up on the rocks. These sliders are standard plastic SEX10 sliders. You can get these on eBay, new even, for 10 or 12 bucks for a set. They're just a hair wider than the hole pattern, but since they're plastic, it all works out. They're just under a slight bit of tension, but you can put these on. You don't have to drill any holes or anything. It's a wonderful upgrade. The next thing is, the most important probably are the tires. The stock tires just didn't do it. They just aren't sticky enough for the rocks. These are flat irons, which is a little bit old school now, but they work 10 times better than the stock tires. When you pick a motor, I would suggest going to a high turn motor. This is a 60 turn. That's a little extreme. I think 45 or 55 would be very good. If you run a 21 or 27 turn motor and you're just out crawling slow, you're going to find your motor heating up. And when they run hot, that means your battery's not going to last as long. So you have shorter run time. For an ESC, I really recommend the axial ESC that comes with the SCX10. I see them on eBay. I got one for around 50 bucks. It was a new takeoff. What's nice about it is that you can plug it into the Castle link and you can change the settings for your drag brake, because you really need an ESC with a drag brake. Let's see now. And the last thing I'd like to add is this transmission doesn't have a slipper clutch. So there's no safety fuse, and something's got to give when you get a tire in a crevice, and what gives are these plastic U-joints on these drive shafts. There are accessory drive shafts made by Genfac. They're not much, they don't cost much. I think they should be pretty good. But what's happening to people is these pop apart when they get under too much strain. It's the weakest link. So something to think about.